by Robert Louis Stevenson in this video. Treasure Island and Kidnapped. They're both pretty short and they're often published together, so I thought I might as well review them together. The first one, Treasure Island, which is one of Robert Louis Stevenson's first books. I've already talked about it quite a bit in the previous video, so I won't spend too long discussing it. I said then that it's one of my favourite novels. I still agree with that. It is fantastic. It's because it's so short, because it's so compact. If anybody doesn't know the plot, which is pretty well known, it's about a group of it's about a treasure map that's found by a young boy who lives in this inn near Bristol, and he shows it to some of his friends, and there's a group of murderous pirates that want to get their hands on it. So then they decide to go on this mission to follow the treasure map and find the treasure, which is on this remote island in the Caribbean. Unbeknownst to them, they take with them on board most of the pirates that are after the treasure. So there's a mutiny, there's loads of kind of adventure, high stakes, that kind of thing. One of the best things about it, one of the reasons why I think it's so good, is running all the way through it is mention of this backstory all about Captain Flint, who was the pirate whose treasure it is that they're looking for. And it's never told directly, it's all really mysterious and you only get little glimpses, and that's the point, is to keep you excited and interested. And it's something that's used all the time now in movies and stuff, but it's interesting because it wasn't so common back then, and that's why this is so great to read nowadays, because of elements like that. It also, pretty much every edition comes with a treasure map. All great books should have treasure maps, that should just be a prerequisite. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend Treasure Island, it's fantastic. The second one, Kidnapped, which is often, like I said, is often published together. In fact, the versions that I actually read was this from the Everyman's Library, and this has both the books together in one volume. And I mean, that kind of shows you how long they really are. Like, I mean, these look pretty big, but they've just got big font. They're really quick and easy to read. So Kidnapped, I think a lot of the marketing and stuff makes it seem like this is about piracy as well, or it's got like a piracy or a sea-based theme. It absolutely has not got that at all. There's a scene right at the beginning, maybe a chapter long, which is at sea, and that's about it. So it's about this kid, Davy Balfour, and it's during the Jacobite Revolution. I mean, I don't really know too much about that. All I know is that the idea is that Scotland is very much separate from England. England are trying to take control of Scotland, and the more traditional Highlanders, the sort of tribal people, are quite strongly against any kind of British involvement. So Davy is kind of separate from that, he doesn't know too much about the politics. He accidentally gets involved in the situation, he gets kidnapped by these other people, but then this Highlander frees him, and they wash up on shore in Scotland, and they basically have to trek across the whole of Scotland to try and get Davy back over the border of Hadrian's Wall to safety. So it's this sort of epic adventure journey of these two people incognito, because they have to hide because the whole of Scotland is overrun with British soldiers who are trying to find Scottish Highlanders to kill, and they'll also kill Davy if they come across him. All to try and get back so that Davy can get his revenge on the person that had him kidnapped in the first place. So as they're going along on this adventure, they become really friendly, and it's basically like a bromance, like as strong as any movie bromance you get today. In particular, the Sherlock Holmes one is very much like that. They're both kind of on equal terms, even though Davy's like a young lad and the other guy, Alan, is sort of like an older, experienced Highlander. They both have their faults and they both have their strengths, and they respect each other. And that's what really makes it a fantastic book, because you just love the relationship, and when they accidentally betray one another, you're like right there with them. Sort of, you're just as kind of hurt, and the reconciliation is just as good. So I would definitely recommend Kidnapped. It is a really, really good book. And I put it off for a while because I couldn't get much information about it, and you know, again, like I said, I wasn't sure, and I hoped it'd be about pirates, and when I started reading it wasn't. It disappointed me, but it ended up being brilliant. So definitely recommend Kidnapped, but also definitely recommend Treasure Island.